Dan?
Present.
James?
Present.
Thanks. Luis, would you read the disclaimer? Oh, yeah. Do I have a motion to excuse the absences?
So moved.
All right. We'll just do a voice vote on that. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Okay. Yeah, so the absence is excused. Luis, would you do the disclaimer, please?
Yep. Chapter 16, Section 22 of the City of Kalamazoo Code of Ordinance states that historical preservation is a public purpose. To serve that purpose, the Historic District Commission is hereby charged with the, hereby charged with the following responsibilities. The Kalamazoo Historic District Commission is empowered to regulate work on the exterior of historic resources and non-historic resources in historic districts in the City of Kalamazoo, and shall otherwise have all powers invested in historic district commissions pursuant to the Local Historic Districts Act, MCLA 399201, 1970, PA 169, as amended in 1992. B, to regulate work on resources which by city ordinance are historic or non-historic resources located within local historic districts, including but not limited to the moving of any structure into or out of, or the building of any structure in an historic district. The following documents are available in the Community Planning and Economic Development Department located at 245 North Rose Street. These documents will help assist property owners in understanding their responsibilities of owning property in a local historic district. MCLA 399201, 1970 PA 169 is amended in 1992, which is the Michigan Local Historic District Act. The Code of Ordinances of the City of Kalamazoo, Michigan, particularly Chapter 16, Historic Districts. The Secretary of the Interior Standards for Rehabilitation and Guidelines for Rehabilitating Historic Buildings, 1990. Standards and Guidelines for Kalamazoo Historic Districts and Maps of Kalamazoo Local Historic Districts. These documents and maps are also available on the City of Kalamazoo's website at www.kalamazoocity.org/historic preservation.
Thank you, Luis. Do I have any motions to approve the agenda, today's agenda?
Just one alteration to the agenda is that 9:30 West Kalamazoo has postponed the application again for this month, so it will not be heard.
All right, could anyone want to make a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the modification that 9:30 West Kalamazoo is postponed.
Second.
Could I get a voice vote on approving?
Yes.
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 Opposed? Okay. Then can I get a motion on approving the minutes from last week? Or is it, yeah, last month?
I move to approve the minutes from last month.
I will second.
Okay, voice vote on that as well. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Are there any public comments before we get into these applications? Any guests that need to be introduced at all?
I will introduce Finn Brent, intern with the City of Kalamazoo from Kalamazoo College, helping us out tonight with the secretarial duties. And if there's anyone that wants to come up to make a public comment that does not pertain to one of, that's not an applicant, this would be the time to do so as well.
All right. Well, great. Okay. So then I think we're going to start with 422 Stanwood.
Hi, and 1 second, we have to get the microphone on for you, I'm sorry. And then hit unmute on that as well. And then if you could just state your name for the record and then kind of give a brief overview of the project for us.
Wendy Denning. 422 Stanwood was built in 1926 as a mother-in-law home behind 424 Stanwood. It shares a drive with 424, 422, and 418 Stanwood. It is barely visible from the street. On the east side of the home is a 3-part living room window. one unopenable center window with a width of 56.5 inches, excuse me, and two casement-style windows, each 17 3/4. All three have deteriorated and need replacement. I would like to replace them with windows of the same size. I will not use casement replacements, but wish to have the two side windows be double hung. Vinyl versus wood, I prefer wood windows. I expect them to cost approximately 20% more than vinyl, and hoping I can obtain and have them installed by October 2023. In the event I cannot get them to meet that deadline, I'm asking for permission to use vinyl. So I ask for two things, please. Permission to replace the 3-part east side windows and permission to use either wood or vinyl.
Yeah, thank you for that. Does anyone have any questions?
I want to be more of a question, I think, for Luis in terms of the date of the home with the casements. How does that affect your historic value? Those would have come after this house was built, correct?
Yeah, and in my report too, it's indicated that this window, I speculate, is not original to the structure because the headings on this bank of windows or window, however you want to look at it, doesn't match any of the other windows on the property, so I'm guessing that it was a replacement at some point. Additionally, the rest of the windows on the property are double hung windows, as Wendy alluded to, and these ones are casements, which also then sticks out from the rest of them as well. So to answer your question, I do not believe that they're original to the property, no.
I would move to approve the replacement of the 3 windows with wood windows as it complies with our standards number 1 and 10, I believe. Is that correct? I have to look at the sheet.
Oh, did you ask for my date?
I would not be in favor of vinyl. So my motion is to approve the approval of the wood windows, casement windows as proposed.
So the proposal is stating that the double hung windows are going to be installed on the sides, not casement windows. Yep.
Excuse me, yes, replacing the casement with double hung.
Yep. And the interior standards for this one are 1, 2, and 6. So if you could restate the motion, please, and make sure that it's clear the standards that you're going to be using, and then clear in the type of window.
Before we do that motion, real quick, maybe just a little bit of discussion here.
And discussion can happen in between the making of the motion and then between the second, so.
Okay.
Yep.
So we're breaking it up into 2 separate items to vote on here. Because more than likely just knowing like the history of this commission, we're probably, and obviously go to a vote, but more than likely not going to approve the vinyl part of your request. But definitely.
And then just for more clarification, what Wendy was asking for in the proposal is that to replace them with wood, that is the preference that Wendy speculated there, stated that she would want to use. In the event that would not be available before October, the installation that she wanted, she was asking permission to use
Right.
that second event. So just so that we're all on the same page, that there's not going to be, it's all one or all the other. Just wanted to make sure that we're all on the same page with that.
And I was going to hopefully maybe guide the motion to saying something along the lines of like approving the 3 windows, but not including in that the vinyl, I guess.
So I'll have you restate the motion then.
Okay, so let's see, I take a stab at this. I move to approve the replacement of the existing casement windows with wood double hung windows as it complies with standards number 1, 2, and 6, but not the vinyl replacement.
Please also state too, and the center window is also being included, not just the 2 flank.
3 windows in total, yes.
No, that's fine.
Anyone want to second that?
Or is there any discussion?
I'll second it. There's no more discussion.
Could I get a roll call vote, please?
Christie,
Yes.
Andrew,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Eric.
Yes.
Okay, Wendy, so the replacement with wood was approved at this point. We can continue to have a discussion if there's something that comes up, and we'll kind of work through it in the future as well, or figure out if we need to come back or anything if the wood is not going to be available in that time as well. So I'll send out the certificate of appropriateness tomorrow to you via email, and then I'll mail one out to you as well so you have a physical copy.
Thanks so much.
Of course, thank you for coming in.
Good night.
All right, we're moving on to 706 West Kalamazoo.
Hello,
Hello?
my name is Tahi Vickery. I'm at 706 West Kalamazoo Avenue. I would like to replace sorry, I got a horse in my throat. The back porch roof with metal, like corrugated, which I sent in the thing. The roof is outside of a bedroom window, and I assume that people have been hanging out there, so if I put metal there, it would prolong the life of the roof on that. It's a 6 by 12-foot roof, and it's on the backside of the Kalamazoo Avenue, and you can see there's a church in the background. It has the same kind of roof right there in the picture, so.
Thank you. Does anyone have any comments or questions?
So what's existing is asphalt, and you would be replacing that with metal, correct?
Yes,
Is that a standing seam, or is that just a standard barn-style metal? Or
I don't know if you can look really in the picture there, that the church right in the background.
We'll
has
get a
the same
picture
type.
we'll get a picture of the proposed metal up on the screen in a second for you.
Yeah. It's kind of like that, right there. It just goes over, seems, I'm assuming probably that was original to the house when it was built, except for that part sure wasn't there at that time.
Is there any other commissioner questions at this time?
I would make one comment. I would think your standing seam is generally a more historical look than what you've got there, but I would still look at that as a massive improvement over the asphalt shingles. So
Yeah.
I would be in favor of any motion that came forward to support you. So
I would make a motion to approve a certificate of appropriateness for the work as described, as it complies with the Secretary of Interior Standards 1, 2, and 5.
Any discussion?
No? Any
I will
seconds?
second that.
All right. Could I get a roll call vote on that, please?
Christie,
Yes.
Andrew,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Eric.
Yes.
All right, so the proposal has passed, so I'll send you an email tomorrow with the certificate of appropriateness in there. And then I'll also mail you a physical copy. I'm not sure when that one will get to you, but you'll hear from me tomorrow, so,
Excellent.
yeah, of course.
Thank you.
All right, we're moving on to 1101 South Park.
Hello.
If you could just state your name for the record and then briefly describe the project for us.
Yep, my name is Jesus Vargas, and the project is replacing 2 windows. Here it is. So these 2 windows.
We'll get a picture up there for you in a second.
Yep, so these ones, they got some water damage, and they're all pretty old. So what they're going to be replacing both of them. They're going to be taking out the windows and then putting replacement windows in exactly the same. So nothing's going to be changed really. They're going to put new crown molding, and then they're going to use cedar around the sides. So nothing really will change around the exterior. We're not gonna be messing with the stucco or anything.
These windows are visible off of Wall Street, correct? Not from Park, is that right? Like they're in the back of the house, I
I
think?
think they're in the back of the house.
So there's one on the front and then one on the rear of the property.
Mhm.
Oh, there's one on the front too?
Yep.
Okay.
It was really hard to get a picture of the one on the front, just because of the tree that was in the way, and then just kind of, I would have to be almost in the street. And I did not go on the street to take the picture. But there is one on the front of the property and one on the back. They're largely the same window.
So you're looking to basically replace it with with wooden windows and then
Yep. Yep,
case
yep.
it the same way?
Same way, yep,
Yeah.
it'll be wood windows.
Okay, great,
Yep.
yeah. Any further comments or motions anyone wants to make?
Or questions for the applicant?
Questions, yeah?
I'll make a motion to approve the certificate of appropriateness as the work complies with the standards 1 and 6.
Any seconds?
Any discussion?
Seconded. Oh,
Oh, yeah,
seconded.
great. Could I get a roll call vote on that, please?
Christie,
Yes.
Andrew,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Eric.
Yes.
All right, so the application has passed, so I'll send over the certificate of, sorry, via email. And then I'll also be sending a physical one over as well. This goes for every project that's going to be happening in the city of Kalamazoo, but make sure that you get all other requisite permits before you start doing the work. I'm not sure if you guys are going to need a building permit for any of this stuff, if you get into any of the reframing in the inside. But the certificate of appropriateness does not constitute blanket approval, so just make sure that you get all the necessary permits.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. All right, we're moving on to 728 Lovell.
My name is Jim Schaefer. I'm not the resident. I'm the POA for the owners of the property. We are requesting demolition of a detached garage. Yeah, that's what we're asking.
So I noticed in the pictures that the garage is in pretty rough shape currently. There's lots of holes above. Is there any other reason for demolishing rather than repairing?
I'm not a contractor. I think, just from my observation, that the cost would be extreme for the property owners. I've talked to a real estate agent. We are in the process of selling the property, and his recommendation was if it could be demolished, that would be the better way to go.
Luis, any idea when it was built or when it showed up on any maps or anything?
No, and this is where this one gets tricky with Sanborn maps. Like, from what I recall when I was setting this up, this area of Lovell Street is like just outside of the fire insurance maps for the city of Kalamazoo in the like 1901 Sanborn map. And then I think it goes 1901, maybe 1908, and then 1932 is the next one. 1932 maps are generally pasted over multiple times, and you get like 32 to 58, and then the one that I have in the office is 66. So there's like a huge gap of what I'm, looking at for there. My feeling is that this was not like a carriage barn at all. This was a garage, an auto garage. It had additions onto the building as well that weren't, I think it was probably a two-bay garage at first, and then there's a cinder block wall in the center of it, and then it was expanded out to the other side. So I don't think that it was original to the property by any means. property was, I don't have the exact, 1900 was the year built, and I don't think that it was probably built anticipating the arrival of cars or autos. So I do not think that it was original to the house, and I know that we need to go off of the standards on this one. The criteria that you all will be evaluating is for notice to proceed, and the one that I looked at was, that I listed considerations under, was D, retaining the resources not in the best interest of the majority of the community, and I stated that the property is not character defining. I think that's because it is not original to the property. It doesn't align with the other character defining features of the property, and that it is not in the interest of the majority of the community to retain it. So, sorry for the long-winded answer.
Yeah, thank you for that. Anyone else have any more questions or comments?
It doesn't look to be highly visible from the road either, is that right?
Yeah, so it's a pretty long garage, actually, that extends, like, you could see it kind of down the end of the driveway a little bit, but then, and I think that there's one of the pictures in there that is a picture that's taken from the street of the property, and perhaps Finn can pull it up. So it's not highly visible. I know it's kind of small. If you could zoom in a little bit there, Finn, in the top right one. But yes, you're correct. It's not highly visible.
Yeah, I mean, just to put some my comments on, like, yeah, it seems, you know, both extremely far gone, and then also not super special for the neighborhood or for the property. So I'm personally not super attached to keeping it, so, for whatever that's worth.
I tend to agree, and the fact that we don't know a specific date when it first appeared, and even how much necessarily original, I tend to agree with you.
All right, well, does anyone want to make a motion or have any more comments or questions?
I'll move to approve the notice to proceed for the work as described in the application per criteria D.
Any seconds?
For discussion.
Or discussion, yeah.
I will second the motion.
Thank you, Eric. Could I get a roll call vote, please?
Christie,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Andrew,
Yes.
James.
Yes.
Okay, so the motion passed. Notice to proceed is just using historic districts when work doesn't align with the standards, but we're still giving you approval to take down the garage. So I'll send that over to you electronically tomorrow. Again, make sure that you get all other necessary permits before you proceed with wrecking the garage or demolishing. And I'll also be sending a physical version of that, and I don't know when that one will show up, but we can also talk further if you have any questions. So thank you for coming in.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Okay, 945 Osborne.
Hello.
Hey.
My name is Rick Sturkin. I own 945 Osborne, and I am here retroactively. I replaced windows in my house 2021, and they're wood windows. I eliminated one window. Now, the paperwork says I replaced 2 on the south side, but I replaced 3. There were 4 windows on the south side of the house. I replaced 1 in the front, replaced 3 on the side. They're wood windows, they're Pellas. I trimmed them out right. I filled in with cedar. I tried to do it right. The city was kind of closed down back then, and I bought this house and was waiting to get a cleared title, and when I got a cleared title, I went ahead and did that work. And there was a porch added onto the back of the house, not visible from the road, from the front. And because it was done with plexiglass and cardboard on the side walls, I put in board on the side and threw in some cheap vinyl windows and to secure the home really is what I did it for. So, and it's still that way. I haven't done any work in that house in about 2 years. So I'm here.
Well, yeah, thank you so much for coming in. And then the vinyl windows you put in, is that the picture where it's like the strange shaped window? Is that a vinyl?
The strange shaped one is
yeah.
there, yeah, and then
Yeah.
the one down below. Neither one of them are opening or anything. Like I said, I threw them in there because I had them, and it secured the structure.
Gotcha. And then would you,
And my plan is on the back is to put pine, what is it they call it, T11, I believe, pine board on the back, so that I didn't have to put cedar siding on there.
gotcha. All right, so I guess out of the gate, more than likely, you know, if you had come to us, the wooden windows that you did, that sounds awesome. Like, and it sounds like you did everything right and got the siding matching well, and that's awesome. But more than likely, if you came to us with the back window project, we probably would not have approved the vinyl windows, just because it doesn't fit the character of the house. But I guess we have to maybe break it up into two issues to discuss, like whether we're going to retroactively approve the wooden windows and siding you did, and then I guess what to do on the porch is, I guess, how I would see it. And then also just further comment, like, would you be, since you were just basically securing that porch and the city was closed down and everything, I mean, would you be willing to move forward and, you know, I guess do the same treatment on that addition as you did on the other stuff?
You mean with cedar board, cedar siding?
With cedar, and then do we would.
So, and I just want to, I guess, interject real quick. When I met with Rick in the past regarding this, the siding of the non-historic addition in the rear that has no cladding on it right now, I was fine with adding. I told him that I would administratively review the cladding and wood material. I think, to me, the biggest thing was understanding that this structure is not original to the property. So then the differentiating that secondary structure to the primary, I don't know how we're getting feedback, is one of the things that I think is important to consider. While it was not just built now, I think that looking at Secretary of the Interior Standards 9 and 10, that new additions, exterior alterations, or related new construction will not destroy historic materials, features, and spatial relationships that characterize the property. Furthermore, the new work will be differentiated from the old and will be compatible with the historic materials, features, size, scale, and proportion, and massing to protect the integrity of the property and its environment. So that's why I felt that it was within reason to administratively approve the alternative siding.
Yeah.
It not only differentiates it, but it does not betray in any way the character of the property, especially because of the subservience of the porch, of it being a rear addition to the property. The things that were included here in the application then to consider would be the removal of the window on the south side, which is pictured here in this image. The replacement of the windows. I guess we can kind of look at those as one or two if you would like.
Well, I think those are all great points.
And then just to speak to what you were saying then too, the vinyl windows that are on the porch. There is another picture, I think, and maybe Finn can scroll to it, of what the porch looked like before. And maybe I didn't get it in there.
I see, as you see from these pictures, you cannot see the back structure from the road view up the driveway.
The
There
very
it is.
last
There it
photo
is,
shows
yeah.
the way that it used to look. There it is.
So this is a picture that, and I think that I indicated maybe in the application, and I would just have to do some scrolling too. This is a picture that my predecessor, Sharon Ferraro, took that shows what it was like previous to, I don't know what year this was, but this was the previous configuration, and I think that Rick then could also speak to this as well. I didn't mean to interrupt, I'm sorry. I just wanted to
Thanks for the clarity.
That's an old picture. The paint didn't look that good when I bought it.
Yeah. Does anyone else have any questions or comments?
I'm still a little unsure on what we're approving work that has been done in the past and giving a,
This is a retroactive application, but every applicant, or every application, retroactive or not, needs to be treated as though the work has not been done. That's just the way
Okay.
that.
I had a question. The windows on the side, was one of those removed when you did your work, or was it removed when you bought the property?
It was removed when I did the work.
Okay, so we're down one window. Okay, thank you.
Do you have a picture of it with the old windows in place?
Can you scroll down a little bit? This also shows it. Can you rotate the picture as well?
Yeah, there it is.
I don't want people to crane their necks.
Okay.
So this is kind of distorted now, but I'm sorry. It's just what the PDF reader is doing. So you can see that there are 4 windows on that south wall and this one. Sorry, I know that the compression is weird on this and it's squeezing it a little.
I guess as a point of discussion, I would probably want to have kept all 4 windows if we're just talking about the side windows right now. I guess that's where I stand on that.
The house just south of the property has 4 windows as well, it looks like, on the opposite side of the driveway from yours, I believe.
Was there a conversation about why that window ended up getting removed?
Why the window wasn't replaced? Because I had 4 windows. And because it was at the back of the structure, yeah, that's why.
you used what you had in stock.
Basically, they were good windows. I didn't
Right.
think it damaged the character. I am historically, I do care about the neighborhood.
Right.
And, I called the city to get a water test as soon as I bought the house. It took over a year for that, and I just went ahead and made a decision and did it. And I'm sorry, but I think I did nice work. And I'm sorry, somebody's got a bug up them 2 years later. I don't know, so.
So just to be clear, I'm just trying to still understand. There was a bank of 4 windows, and one of those 4 windows was eliminated. And the 4th window that
No, the 4th window went on the front of the structure,
So-
on the front porch.
So there was a bank of 4 that was shrunk to 3, but that other window you replaced in another spot. You basically moved it from here to there.
And I
Yeah,
just
they were
want
all-
to,
They were all in bad shape. They were
Yeah.
all-
I want to make sure that we're all on the same page right now. When we're looking at the south side of the structure, which is the side that's up on the screen right now, originally there were 4 windows there.
Correct.
There's always been 1 window that's on the street-facing facade of the structure as well, correct, Rick?
Correct.
There was no moving of windows or taking windows and moving them to another spot. There was 1 window that was eliminated on the south side, and it's
Correct.
the one that is the closest to the right if we're looking at this picture right now. Not the second from the right, excuse me. It has an air conditioner in it right now, is that correct?
The window that was eliminated has the air conditioner in that picture. That's
Yes.
correct. Yep.
So that is the one that was just taken away. It was not migrated to another portion of the house. And then, so I just want to make sure that we're all talking about the same stuff here when we're speaking about it. So that's what was happened with the removal. And then you replaced the other windows, correct? The windows in question here that we're talking about on the south side and the street-facing facade, you replaced those as well, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we all know, all on the same page.
I feel like I'm in the same boat as your comment that if it came to us, I probably wouldn't have approved removing that window.
I chose that one just because it was to the rear of the structure, and I kept the front too. It was like, which one, and that's why I chose that one, to be
Yeah.
perfectly honest.
I appreciate that. We basically have a set of guidelines that we have to follow, though, on what we approve, and, yeah, so. Yeah, any other questions about that?
I would just like to say it sounds like you're doing the best you can do with what you got, and it's a whole lot better than a whole lot of other people are doing.
Thank you, I
So,
appreciate that kind word.
from-
I like to think I do good work, and I know I do good work, and yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
From one
I'm not-
crafty guy to another, I
I'm not
appreciate
trying to
what you're
piece a
doing.
house together to make it, to get the rent. My daughter lives in the house, my kids lived in the other one, whatever. It's not really a business for me, it's my retirement fun time. That's what it is.
Questions that we need to ask ourselves, and it seems like we are most likely, or you all are going to divide this into two separate segments. I don't think that it's appropriate for us to ask ourselves, what would we have done if the work came to us before? Because we are looking at this now as if the work hasn't been done, first of all. That is how I want you guys to think about it, because that's how it has to be looked at. Second, I think that if we ask ourselves then, looking through the standards, I just want to make sure that you guys are all making good use of the standards that were outlined, 1, 2, 6, and 9, and then understanding where they're applied and stuff as well. And so we don't get too far afield with anything, just so we remain on topic and focused as well.
I guess as a point of clarification, I have a question for you, Luis. Are we supposed to like pretend there wasn't a fourth window, or because that's a major thing that was removed in my opinion, but I just want to understand again, like you're asking us to look at it as if it's just come to us. So
Yep.
Can you help me understand, please?
Yep. So you guys I don't want it to saying we don't know if we would have approved it when it came to us. We treat every single application, in fairness to people who preemptively apply, every single application is treated as if the work has not been done. We have a picture now, previous to the work, so I just don't want you guys to influence your own thinking by saying, judge it by the merits of the case, I guess is what I'm saying, and not going back to say, I would have done something differently otherwise. This is the case that is being presented to us, and I just want it to be judged on the merits of the case.
Yeah, I think that's clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, does that answer it too? Okay, so we are treating it as if there were,
The work hasn't started yet.
it's,
And he came to us to ask to remove one window.
Yep.
And how would you, okay, so then I guess we need basically two motions. The first motion to approve the project of removing one window, and then we'll have a discussion after that motion, and then a follow-up motion for the porch.
yep. And if you guys then are going to divide it into two, which is what it sounds like you're going to do, then the division into two would probably also deal with the replacement of the windows and then the removal of the window, it sounds like, and then the porch would be a separate motion that you're all going to make. Is that correct?
Okay.
I just want to make sure that we're all encompassing so that every base is covered here. Sounds like that's what you guys were talking about, but I just want to make sure, and then when you guys make the motion, so it can be a smooth motion that's made. And more questions can still be asked, of course, as well.
Just a comment. I think the work that you did is great. I appreciate the siding matching what was already there. I appreciate the wood windows. And I also take into consideration that the street this house is on is a dead end, correct? It's at the
Right.
end. And this is the very south side of that.
Right, there are two more
near the
houses,
dead end.
or, 3 houses before the end.
Not highly visible. That said, it still constitutes the removal of a historic feature and doesn't fit with our standards, and that's kind of where I'm hung up right now.
I would like to back up what you're saying exactly. I see the quality of your work, and I see what you're doing. You're doing a good job, but it doesn't, fit what we're mandated to uphold. All right, does any commissioner want to make a motion to either approve the project or not approve it? And then we can have discussion on that, this one part.
Okay, tell me if this encompasses what we're supposed to. I will make a motion to deny the application based on the Secretary of Interior Standards 1, 2, 6, and 9 pertaining to the removal of the side window.
I would rephrase it to specify first what you are speaking to. It's not the entire application in this case. You're speaking to one component of it.
I'll try again.
Yep.
Make a motion to deny the removal of the third of 4 side windows based on the Secretary of Interior Standards 1, 2, 6, and 9.
Yes, I think that the way that this is then proceeding, you guys will have discussion afterwards as well, then that there will be another motion that'll be made for the replacements of the windows in between this, and then there'll be another motion at the end, it seems, for the looking at the porch considerations.
Is there any discussion on that motion? All right. Can I have a second on that motion?
Seconded.
Thank you. Could I get a roll call vote, please? And remember, when you're voting yes, you're not approving it. So.
Christie,
Yes.
Andrew,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Eric.
Abstain.
You cannot abstain.
I cannot?
No.
No.
Okay, so the motion still carries then, 4-1. There'll be 2 other components on this one, just so you know. Proceed.
Okay, so then I'd like to make a motion to approve the replacement windows 1, 2, and 3, which complies with the Secretary of Interior Standards 1, 2, 6, and 9.
Any discussion on that? No, we now have to.
These are the wood ones that have
Still,
been
yeah, we're
replaced.
approving the 3
Excellent,
that are in
okay.
place. Yeah.
I second.
Okay. Could I get a roll call vote on that, please?
Christie,
Yes.
Andrew,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Eric.
Yes.
Okay.
And so, so we approve the wooden windows you put in, but are not approving the removal of the one. And now we're going to go into discussion for the porch addition. So, does anyone have a motion for the porch or discussion?
I'll move to approve the porch work as it complies with the standards and does not adversely affect the historic character of the property.
Could you further specify, please, the porch work?
Sorry?
Could you further specify the porch work that you're approving? Or just say that it's as specified in the application?
As specified in the application.
Thank you.
Any questions or discussion on that? Anyone want to second that motion?
I'll second that motion.
Could I get a roll call vote, please?
Christie,
Yes.
Andrew,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
James.
Yes.
Okay, Rick. So 3 motions were made. The removal of the one window was denied. The replacement with the wood windows was approved, and all of the work that you've proposed on the rear of the porch as well have been approved. I will send that out in an official correspondence to you tomorrow, and then I'm sure that we will be in touch too regarding what the next steps are going to be for us moving forward.
Yep.
We'll just be in touch about it,
Yep.
because now that the removal of that, there's going to need to be some action that's going to need to be taken for the removal of it. If it was a continuation on that, I would be fine with that coming back underneath this same application without you reapplying for it. It wouldn't need to be a new application, but when we figure out what's going to happen with the removed window,
I may have to file a new application to come in front of
I can have you, I will just move to have it be an amendment onto this one, because it's a continuation of the same work as I see it. So I just wanted to let you know that. So I'm sure that we will all be speaking again soon, and more than happy to continue to talk with you regarding this.
All right,
So
very good.
thank you for your time,
Thank
Rick.
you for your help. Thank
Yep.
you, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so that is all the applications. Luis, did you have the coordinator's report?
Yeah, I just need to get down to it, I'm sorry. So First thing is that Finn has been really helpful in setting up the gravestone cleaning that'll be hosted at Mountain Home Cemetery on the 22nd of July, this Saturday from 9 a.m. to noon. Everyone is invited. Public and commissioners are more than welcome to come. Learn about cleaning gravestones, kind of learn. I think it's always just fun too to be in the cemetery and learn about some of the prominent citizens that used to live here in the city of Kalamazoo. Many of the early pioneers and just a lot of really prominent folks are buried in Mountain Home Cemetery. Learn about the best ways to clean them. It blows my mind always to see just what water would do to get a lot of that grime off. So if you're interested, feel free to come down. We'll have the materials for people to participate if you would like to. Just don't wear nice clothes because it kind of gets pretty dirty from kneeling in the grass and dirt, but also from getting that grime off, and flecks of stuff can also just come up onto your clothes. So you don't need to stay the whole time, and you can pop in at any time from 9 to noon if you would like to. So hope to see some of you there, but I understand if not, because it is on a Saturday. Next, we can look at some of the historic district reviews. 18 administrative reviews without permits, 22 administrative reviews with permits, and 21 hearings, not including these tonight. The totals, I didn't add them up right, and I didn't notice until I put it together, so I'm sorry. And if someone would like me to actually total it up money-wise, I can do that, but I think that you guys are also capable. But if you'd like me to, I'm more than happy to. The administrative reviews, I think the only one of note is there's an addition of an egress window on a secondary facade. This is something that I'd done administratively before, so I continued suit with that. It was not damaging in any capacity any significant historic features of the property, especially it being on a secondary facade, and allows for more contemporary efficient use of the property, I felt, as well, by allowing you could have living space then potentially in the basement. A lot of porch repairs and roofs. And then the refacing of a sign at 1104 Southwest Nidge as well. So those are all of the administrative reviews that have happened up to this point. If anyone has any questions about anything.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yep.
Then I'm gonna adjourn the meeting. It is 5:47. Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yep.